Good evening, everyone. Hope you enjoyed today. Almost touched 70. It will be a while before we do that again. So I hope you got a chance to enjoy it. So I want to talk about the weather unless you've been living under a rock, we have a weather system coming in. We have several weather systems coming in actually. So I want to talk about that and kind of give you some expectations on what to expect, and of course answer your questions when we get to that point. What I'll do is I will go through my synopsis of everything, and then I'll check the chat and answer any questions we have when we get through that. And with that, here we go. Well, I always like to start out with my weather station. So we have a nice balmy 64 degrees outside. Again, don't expect that to be showing up on the weather station anytime soon after today. The first of our mini weather fronts are going to come through overnight, and we're about to talk about that. And believe it or not, before we talk about the storms, about the snow and ice, we're going to talk about the potential for storms, although not a great chance for our area, but let's go ahead and talk about that. And we will get over to that slide. There we go. Okay, so the first part of the storm system is the threat for severe weather. Now, granted, it's not that great for our particular area in DFW, if you're in DFW or North Texas. However, if you are watching or listening to this in East Texas, then you have a much better chance of seeing some severe weather. We have some showers and thunderstorms already popping up. And as a matter of fact, I may, if I can get that to pull up, I may show that back on my other screen. Let's see if I can do that. And it doesn't want to pull up. All right. Well, let's try. You know what? Let's try this. There we go. So you can see there's actually some robust showers and thunderstorms in northeast Texas, really east of Sulphur Springs. And so that is going to be a trend for the remainder of the night. We'll put that in motion. And you can see these storms popped up just a couple hours ago. And we kind of figured that most of the storms would pop up east of us. Now, that's not the only chance for storms tonight. When the actual upper level disturbance comes through, then that is when we're going to have a chance for showers and more chances for showers and thunderstorms. But again, most of the instability and most of the ingredients for severe weather are going to be east of Dallas-Fort Worth. I don't know that we wouldn't see a storm or two, but the severe part of it should be pretty east of North Texas in general. But it's something got to watch because, unfortunately, if something does happen, it would probably be after midnight. And so it'd be an overnight type thing. And, this is Texas and crazy weather. I wouldn't be surprised if we were woken up a little bit after midnight, but hopefully it won't be anything bad. All right, so let's go back to the slides. All right, so this kind of gives a good graphic representation of what we can expect. So like I said, a few strong to severe storms. You can see the timeline there. 9 to midnight is what you see in the top right there. Scattered showers. And then midnight to 3, we'll probably see a solid line of storms form. Again, mostly east of Dallas-Fort Worth. And then from 3 to 6 a.m., we would see most of it in East Texas. Now, specifically from a severe weather threat, this is the day one outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. And you can see that the vast majority of the severe weather potential is east and northeast of Dallas. Although we do see a slight risk of severe thunderstorms from Waco east. So if you're southeast of Dallas-Fort Worth, you're not totally out of the woods. But the main threat is going to be northeast into northeast Texas and Arkansas and Louisiana from an overall standpoint. Certainly from a tornado standpoint, we don't see really it's not zero. It never really is zero in severe weather events, but it's just not a realistic chance in North Texas, thank goodness. However, you can see that hatched area, and that's a 10% probability of seeing an EF2 tornado or greater. So they're definitely going to be under the gun overnight tonight from midnight to like 3 a.m. So if you know anybody in Longview, Texarkana, Southwest Arkansas, the far part of Northwest Louisiana, give them a heads up and tell them, hey, there could be some bad weather coming your way overnight. And the hail wants to creep back a little bit closer to Dallas-Fort Worth, but again, I just don't think that's going to be a big concern for us overnight. And then the severe wind outlook, and again, the 30% chance is way in northeast Texas, southwest Arkansas, northwest Louisiana. nothing much to talk about there for us. Although you do see the 5 to 14% in the brown and the 15 to 20% in the yellow for the severe wind threat. Again, wind gust 58 miles an hour or greater. I just don't, not out of the question, if these storms do roll through after midnight from west to east across Dallas-Fort Worth, that would be the main threat, the gusty winds. All right, so once we get past all of that, then we're going to talk about the cold. And this is actually not even the coldest weather we're going to see. And of course, you see that map, you're like, well, wait a minute, there's 60 degrees on there. Well, this is the wind chill, this is not the temperature. So this is tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. ish, when you're getting up, going to school, going to work. So this cold front is going to come through after midnight, and I think we'll be able to I'll be able to show that to you on satellite here in just a second, where it is now. But this cold front's going to come through, going to bring gusty winds with it. Temperature is going to dip down into probably the upper 20s, low 30s. But when you have wind gusts 30 to 40 miles an hour, then that's going to get those wind chills down into the teens. Of course, if you're north of Dallas-Fort Worth, then it's going to be even colder. South, you're going to stay in the 20s. But again, that's going to be cold no matter where you're at. And then with all that, of course, with the wind being so strong, we do have a wind advisory in effect for all North Texas from midnight till noon tomorrow. And we should see the wind actually die off toward the late afternoon and evening hours tomorrow. So tomorrow night, the wind won't be near as strong. And going into Saturday morning, the wind won't be as strong, although it's going to change directions, go out of south, and it's going to pick up again early Saturday morning before our big Arctic front comes through. So with that, let's talk about the $1,000,000 question. Is it going to be snow? Is it going to be ice? And I think the main takeaway from this graphic is, if you remember the graphic we showed yesterday, or I showed yesterday, it just had really the northeast part of the Metroplex in the severe weather, in the winter weather area, and that's really expanded to the west and south of where the original graphic was. So I think the consensus from most of the models, and we'll look at a couple of those in a second, is that it's going to do something. I don't think it's, at least right now, it doesn't appear that the amounts would be heavy, but as I've always said, when the temperature is below freezing, especially it's going to be in the 20s and even in teens during this event, then it just doesn't take very much at all to get, frozen precipitation, even if it's a light amount, to get it to cause problems. And that's probably what we're going to be dealing with. So this particular map, you see the gray area being the biggest chance for snow, and that's way up near the Red River. Now, again, this could change, so it could, that snow line could move south. The lighter pink is a wintry mix, so we're expecting, snow and freezing rain and sleet. That would be the northern Metroplex, Collin, Denton counties, and then from basically I-30, I-20 south of DFW, they're expecting freezing rain. Now, again, they're not expecting terribly heavy amounts, but again, it doesn't take a lot of winter precipitation to cause a lot of problems. So that's probably what we're looking at. So from a timing standpoint, what are we talking about? So we're not going to see any of this until, Sunday afternoon. And I think even then it would start out light. And then as we go into Sunday evening, overnight Monday, and probably till about noon on Monday is when we would see this event unfold. Now, again, it's still too early to tell. We are more than 48 hours away from the precipitation timeline starting. So again, that's afternoon on Sunday, after 12 o'clock on Sunday through noon on Monday. So like I said, I know it sounds crazy to say a lot could change, and I don't mean a lot by the sense that it's going to be 50 instead of 20, but the precipitation type could change. It could pick up in amount. It could change from freezing rain to snow. The snow line could go way up into Oklahoma. I mean, there's just so many things that happen. But I think the bottom line is that we are going to see some type of frozen precipitation in the Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening time frame. And if that is the case, and in Monday morning time frame, and if that is the case, then when we all go back to work in school on Tuesday, whatever has fallen, especially if it's more than just light amounts, then that will impact the commute and businesses in school on Tuesday morning. So that's what we're going to have to watch. And we're going to talk about why that's going to be the case, because we are going to talk about temperatures here. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and start talking about that. All right. So This is the forecast temperatures for Sunday night, Monday morning, and hopefully you can see it. But if you can't, they're forecasting 12 degrees at Dallas, 12 degrees in Fort Worth. Now that's not the wind chill. That is that's the temperature. So we are going to have some wind during that time. So wind chill values are most likely going to be 0 and below. So anywhere from 15 below 0 to 0 below. So this is Monday morning. It is a holiday for most, so it's not a big deal as it would be on a normal Monday. But still, regardless of whether it's a holiday or not, it's going to be dangerously cold out there. And if we're having precipitation during this time period, then it's just going to be a mess. And unfortunately, if that's the case, it won't really go anywhere Monday, even when the precipitation stops, because it's just not going to get above freezing. And then that's going to make it stick around until Tuesday at the very least, and maybe even into Wednesday morning. But that's, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves there. But regardless of whether it snows or freezing rains or anything like that, it's going to be dangerously cold. So that's what in the big scheme of things, that's kind of the bigger headline, is that it's going to be cold. Bitterly cold, unseasonably cold. The cold we're not really used to. So if you kind of look at the bigger picture as far as the temperatures go, what can we expect? It is something that the very top line is Dallas, then Fort Worth, and it kind of goes through the Weather Service Office's forecast area. But to kind of give you an idea, so, again, temperatures in the 20s Sunday evening, low 20s, teens overnight, as we talked about, maybe warming up into the mid-20s Monday afternoon, getting down into maybe 11 degrees on Tuesday morning. That's kind of an average, probably. You're going to see some temperatures below that, some temperatures above that. And then Tuesday afternoon, again, this is going to change, but we could see temperatures close to 30. Again, depending on how much precipitation we get, that might mean it might not mean a whole lot, because if we get a lot of frozen precipitation, that'll keep the temperature down too. So, and then Wednesday, regardless of how much I think winter precipitation we get, it'll get above freezing, probably around noon on Wednesday at the latest. It might get above freezing before that, but that's the kind of duration event we're talking about. So it is something that you definitely want to prepare for. I know we all get caught up on the type of precipitation. Is it going to snow? Is it going to be sleet? And that's important to look out for, that's for sure. But we also have to think about what we're going to do to protect ourselves from the cold temperatures, really cold temperatures. Now, those of us who were around, which were probably most of us, for the February 2021 storm, it's not going to be like that. We're not going to get down to 0, at least. Well, there's one model that says we are, but I don't believe it. It's not going to be that. It's certainly not going to be that long a duration event, but for the next 48 hours after starting Sunday morning, from about Sunday morning on through, really Wednesday morning, it's going to be cold, really windy. And the early part of that period would be some winter precipitation. Again, how much, who knows? So that's probably the big takeaway. Okay. So, and again, this is just statistics. This is a probability of temperatures dropping to 10 degrees or less. This is Sunday night, Monday morning. As you can see in the red, greater than 50%, orange, 30 to 50%, and of course the yellow is 15 to 30%. So I would say that Monday morning and Tuesday morning, really, we're going to see temperatures, I would guess, in the lower teens for most of us, in the immediate Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and colder north, a little bit warmer south, warmer being a relative term. And then while we're talking about that, talking about winter preparation, we like to talk about the 4 Ps: people, pets, plants, and pipes. So check on your neighbors, especially people that are vulnerable to the cold. If you have pets and they're outdoor pets, I have pets, they bring them in, please. If they're outdoor pets, it's too cold for them, so bring them in. And then, like I said, if you happen to have plants outside, bring them indoors, because no matter how hardy they are, if it gets down to 10 degrees or less, they're not going to survive. So bring those in. And then if you haven't got your outdoor faucets covered yet, you still got time. You can do that tomorrow. You can do that even on Saturday. But if you haven't got those covered up, now is the time to do that. All right, so this is always a fun part, right? Looking at the models. And, I was talking about this last time because I'm kind of loath sometimes to show these, because you know, they could be all over the place. But I did show some models that are fairly consistent, and so I just kind of wanted to give it that. So what I did was I picked Monday morning at 6 a.m. That's what all these maps are going to represent. So let's see. This is a Canadian. No, this is a GFS. And as you can see, yeah, I mean the blue is snow, the pink, or excuse me, the purple is sleet, and the red is ice. So they kind of see more of a snow sleet mix for us. Again, one model. The next one is the European model, and as you can tell, kind of like that the graphic we showed just a second ago, you can see that that's more of a freezing rain, freezing rain sleet type precipitation model for most of North Texas. Although the snow line again is north of DFW, that's pretty in line with what the graphics showed from the National Weather Service. This is let's see, this is a CFS, and again, this even has a freezing rain sleet line all the way up to the Red River. So I think that's why you saw that graphic showing the snow way further north toward the Red River, because most of the models are kind of showing that. And then let's see, I believe this is the Canadian model. You can see that it's no snow in this one. It's all frozen precipitation. Actually, in this case, the purple is sleet. So you're seeing nothing but that even into southern Oklahoma. So it's this, and then I wanted to show this one because this is interesting. This is the Icon model, and the Icon model is, you don't hear about it a whole lot. I'm not saying it's not a good model, but the Icon model is more of a an alpine type model, more in mountainous areas. It does really well in alpine climates, so Colorado, Wyoming, things like that. But they do modeling for the entire country. And I just wanted to throw this in here because I thought it was very ironic that the model that kind of handles winter precipitation the best, quote unquote, doesn't show much in our area at all. And so I think it'd be very ironic if the one that handles winter weather the best shows that we don't get anything. So just throw that in there. I don't know that this is actually this is an accurate model, but I just wanted to do it as a contrast to the others. That's why it's so tricky. And so this is a temperature forecast Tuesday morning, and you can't see those individual temperatures, but that's again teens in the Metroplex Tuesday morning. So really, really cold. And I kind of wanted to show this one because it shows the freezing temperatures going almost all the way down to the valley, and they certainly aren't used to that. So it's going to be a cold air mass. And I talked about this briefly, but again, I would just encourage you to winterize your home. Now, you look at that and it says, inspect your chimney. I'm not I'm not expecting everybody to go do that. But, it's just, especially the pipes and the faucets, just make sure you have time. So it's just, there's no rush to do anything. It's just make sure that before Sunday morning gets here that you have done the simple things, covering up your faucets, opening the drawer, the cabinets below your sink. Make sure warm air gets underneath the pipe, or gets through the pipe so they don't freeze. Just little stuff like that. Most of the time that's going to be enough to keep you from having issues. All right, so that's okay. So let's let me check the chat real quick here. Hello, Misty. Please tell me about my area tonight. Is it going to be real severe? Yeah, so Misty is southeast of Dallas-Fort Worth. Hello, Misty. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that. I don't think I've talked to you since then. Real severe. So, yeah, that's kind of a tricky term. So I'll go ahead and put the maps up for you, Misty. It is, you're definitely in a slight risk area in the yellow. And then as far as the particular severe weather, type of threats, you don't really have a tornado threat, so that's good. You're not even in the green there. Hail, you got a chance for hail. But again, you're not in the hatched area. That's 2 inches in diameter or greater. So you're okay there. And then the severe wind outlook, again, you're in the yellow. That's probably your biggest threat, is that. Now, again, the further north, the northern part of this yellow area is the greater threat for that. You're on the southern end of this. So, it's just something you need to watch. Just have your way to get a weather warning overnight. Because if you do see something, it would definitely be after midnight. So just watch out there. Be careful, Misty. It could definitely sneak up on you, that's for sure. Hello, Carolyn. It doesn't sound like global warming to me. Well, it's not gonna be warm. I put it that way. It's gonna be cold the next couple of days. That's for sure. Probably the next 3 or 4 days. Okay, so if you're just joining us, I don't see anything else in the chat. So if you have a question, just put that in the chat. I will definitely try to answer it. Just looking at Misty. Oh yeah. Oh, you're welcome, Misty. Yeah, I know. Tornadoes are very concerning at night. They're concerning any time, but they're definitely concerning at night. So I don't really think, Misty, you're gonna have to worry about tornadoes in your neck of the woods. I just think there's gonna be a wind threat. Now, having said that, I don't think it's gonna necessarily be, you're gonna have 100% probability of seeing a severe wind threat at your place. But again, just something. As I tell anybody that's in a severe weather area overnight, just make sure you have a chance or have a way to get a warning. If there is one issued for your area, just make sure you have that. All right, let me back up a little bit here if I can. Well, let's try this. All right, so quick recap. If you're just joining us, thank you, of course, for joining us. If you are just joining us, so tonight the weather story will be this. It will be we have a chance for showers and thunderstorms. Most of the severe weather will be east of Dallas Fort Worth, but it's not totally out of the question that we could see something. If we saw something on the severe side, it'd be wind related, most likely. And again, as you can see, the severe weather, the bulk of the severe weather would be east of us. Certainly from a tornado threat, that would be the case. And really from a hail threat. And like I said, the biggest chance we have to see is wind. Okay, obviously the bigger story is the cold weather. This is Friday. This is not the coldest of the cold. This is Friday morning. Temperatures in the 20s, wind chills in the teens. So tomorrow morning when you go to school and work, it's going to be way different than it was today. I promise you. If you enjoyed those close to 70-degree temperatures, I hope you enjoyed it because it's going to be a while before we get that warm again. So this is kind of the summary of the models we talked about. As you can tell, all of North Texas has a chance to see winter precipitation. How much we're going to see, we don't know. It doesn't take a whole lot to cause problems, unfortunately. So even a little bit of ice and snow will cause problems, especially with the temperatures being as cold as they're going to be. As this low temperature map shows for Monday morning, 12 degrees. It's a forecast high. It will probably be something close to that. It's hardly ever exactly what they say it's going to be. But the bigger issue here is going to be the wind. The wind chills are going to be anywhere from 0 to 15 below Monday morning. So it's a holiday for most of us, so we don't have to worry about getting out. Some do, I know, so be careful with those that have to get out Monday morning. But it's just going to be really cold, life-threatening cold, really, especially if you don't have the right protection. And then the duration of the event, temperatures in the once that Arctic cold front comes through Saturday night, Sunday morning, temperatures going to be in the 20s, in the teens, really until Wednesday morning. It probably get above freezing at that point. And again, that's highly dependent upon how much frozen precipitation we get. The less frozen precipitation we get, it's going to warm up. It's going to get below or get above freezing quicker. If it's more than we think, it's going to take longer. So, and then the chance of seeing temperatures 10 degrees or less in the red, greater than 50%. Everybody else is less than 50%. I think that's probably pretty accurate. I don't know that a whole lot of us will see 10 degrees, but if it does come in colder, then we might see that. And then protect those 4 P's: people, plants, pets, and pipes, if you can. And again, just a quick summary of the models. We have the GFS, snow and sleet for us. The European model, mostly sleet. The CFS, which is mostly mixed precipitation. The Canadian model, mostly mixed precipitation. And the Icon, the winter model, shows nothing for us. So how ironic would that be? All right. And then the forecast low temperatures for Tuesday morning in the lower teens. And then that freezing temperatures go all the way down to the valley. So that's just not good. And winterize that house if you got exposed pipes. Faucets, cover them up, open those cabinets inside your house underneath sinks and faucets, and that way they can be protected. You don't have to worry about having a big bill. All right, so before we wrap it up, I'm still looking at the chat. I don't see any new comments, but let's see. There we go. Let's get that radar back going. Let's see, move this a little bit. All right, so we'll put that in motion. So nothing severe right now, so that's good. But if you are in the northeast Texas, really east of Sulphur Springs, Mount Pleasant, heading up toward Texarkana, you know, you could see those lightning bolts. You know, expect showers and thunderstorms east of there the next couple hours. This is not the main event. The upper level disturbance is going to be swinging from this direction after midnight, and so we are expecting showers and thunderstorms to form over Dallas Fort Worth, maybe slightly east. They will become more and more potent when they move into eastern Texas and southeastern Texas. So that'll be after midnight. So that's what you got to watch out for. Let's see. Let's stop this real quick. All right. So let's see if I can do this. Let's turn this on. There we go. All right. So I did want to show you something really quick. It's kind of hard to see on this one, but you can see the cold front is right about there. And you can, I'll take this off. And you can see that surge. So it'll be here, around midnight or after midnight. So that's when the first cold wave is going to come. And then after that is going to be even colder Saturday, after a slight warm up on Saturday in the mid 50s. And then we're going to plunge until Wednesday. So, okay. So I don't see anything else in the chat. So with that, I am going to wrap it up. I'll try to do a condensed version of everything here in a little bit as a summary, and then that way if you just want to watch the highlights, then you can do that, of course. I also want to take a moment to thank our sponsors to help make this happen: Bacon Roofing and A-Man Plumbing. Could not do this without their financial support, so I really appreciate you guys. If you need roofing services or if you need plumbing services, which hopefully none of you will after after all this, but if you do, give them a shout out, give them a call. They will definitely take care of you. They have taken care of me. All right. Well, as always, I'm watching the weather so you don't have to. Hope everyone has a great rest of your evening with what's left of it. Be careful, be safe, stay warm, and we'll talk to you soon.